With 45% of authors using AI to some degree or another, let's talk about other people who are using AI, including journalists.
Here's
Jonathan, what's going on with this?
here's the bad use case of AI. So, according to World, the Chicago Sun-Times and the Philadelphia Inquirer recently published a book list of mostly fake titles generated by AI. The 15-book summer reading list published by the paper on Sunday and the Philadelphia paper on Thursday only had 5 real titles in it. Turns out the faulty list was part of an insert syndicated by King Features, and the Chicago-based writer, Marco Buscaglia, who used AI to write the piece and didn't fact-check it. He didn't know it was going to be used as part of this piece. They just threw it in. They're like, oh, this is interesting. We need to have something interesting thrown into this. So they put it in and didn't check it at all.
What a
And it's
freelance
not real books.
a freelance writer not being told all of the information he needed to do his assignment. I'm shocked, Jonathan. Shocked.
That never happens. Never happens.
This is very interesting that everyone is acting so surprised about this story, because I guess it wasn't common knowledge that newspapers have been using AI to write articles, not for a few years, but for over a decade. So for 5+ years, 10+ years before ChatGPT came out, newspapers were using AI to generate stories, particularly financial stories. So the early AIs, the pre-ChatGPT 3.5, were actually pretty good at taking a financial statement from a publicly traded company and taking that data and narrativizing it. And another really early use case of AI, we're talking like 2009, 2010, 2011, was taking a general story and localizing it. So you'd take some general story and then you'd localize the data. So you'd have some big release of data that has like county by county breakdown of the data. And the newspaper would then share that data, but the AI would customize the story. So the Austin version of that story would have examples from counties around Austin, whereas the Phoenix Sun version of that story would have examples from around Phoenix. And so this has been going on for a really long time.
Right.
I hate to break to you, but a lot of the news is fake news. It's like,
what?
And it's like the AIs can't be trusted and the humans also can't be trusted. Like, I know some people still think that if the New York Times says that or the Chicago Sun-Tribune says it, that it's the truth, but it's not necessarily the truth. People are liars. Computers make mistakes. And part of what drove this was the newspaper business got really hammered. They lost their classified business. Then they started moving to the left and started losing their subscriber base when half of the residents of a town get made angry with your reporting and they stop becoming subscribers. It really shrinks your subscriber base. I remember being a kid and always wanting to get the newspaper so I could read the funny pages. And our local paper was so left-leaning that it made my parents so angry. They didn't want to pay to support what my dad called the Austin Un-American Spaceman. And so, the newspapers didn't realize that. Most newspaper people really think of themselves as centrists because they just don't interact with folks on the right. You know, there came out that like nobody at NPR is a Republican, like at the editorial level and above. There's like not a single one. And so it's like, if none of your friends are Republicans, if you've never even talked to a Republican other than shouting at them at a protest, it's like, how do you even know how they think? Right. It's like you get very disconnected. And so they kept losing money. They kept cutting costs and they started making cuts in their editorial department. And so this is why they were so early to adopt AI really early on. And you'll notice in the apology from the Chicago Sun-Times, they didn't apologize for using AI because they use that all over the paper. They apologize for the inaccuracies because they got caught.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Everyone's like, oh, we're going to catch you using AI. The only reason they got caught was because they didn't fact check it. And the guy who wrote this didn't even check to see if these books were real, which means he had to have been using a pretty obscure prompt, or he was using an AI that wasn't very fluent in books. My guess is he was specifically prompting the AI for like undiscovered books or like, you know, hidden gems, some kind of trigger like that, and kept asking for more and more obscure books until the AI is like, obscure books? I'll give you obscure books. These books haven't even been written yet. He's like, perfect, copy paste. My work here is done. Go ahead.
Another fantastic use case, and I find this one delightful, is this guy put out a book and he left his prompt in the text of the book. Okay? First of all, the first sin this guy committed is that it's written in present tense, and I can't stand that personally.
Oh, come on.
No,
Hunger
no.
Games is in present tense.
I can't stand reading it. Can't stand reading it. But this guy, he has the end of his paragraph, Ash's scales darken as his fire magic heats the air around us. I've rewritten the passage to align more with Jay Bree's style, which features more tension, gritty undertones, and raw emotional subtext beneath the supernatural elements. We need to tell Kai. Okay, if you're going to do this, take out the prompt.
So remember, 45% of authors using AI in some degree, very small percentage are not hiring human editors to check things over. You need some beta readers. You need some human editors. I don't want to beat up on this guy too much.
But... No. But it's hilarious. Like, dude.